This is the Hype Squad with Charli McConnell, a podcast where women can be full of themselves and brag about what they're good at. Each week, we're going to bring you conversations covering topics like motherhood, life, relationships, business, and everything in between, because anything is possible with your very own Hype Squad. What's up, ladies? Welcome back to the Hype Squad. I'm Charli McConnell, your host, and today we have Onikia Brown on. She is a registered dietitian, nutritionalist, and a nutrition professor at Auburn University. She's been a member of the Auburn community for 12 years, and she has 3 daughters, Shayna. Am I saying it right? Shauna, Layla, and Jada.
Yes.
She's excited about the bar method community that is growing in her Auburn studio and enjoys being able to assist and witness the physical and mental transformations occurring. Onikia is passionate about helping others achieve and maintain a healthful life through diet and physical activity. When she's not working, she enjoys cheering for her daughters and their teams.
I do.
Welcome, Onikia.
Thank you.
I'm so happy you're here. Your first podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going in big.
We're going.
I'm excited.
Yeah, Charli, thank
I'm
you so
excited.
much. I was like, podcast? Okay.
Sign me up.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your experience with being a professor in nutrition and also opening up the bar method in Auburn. What's that been like for you?
Hard. Hard. It's hard to be a professor. It's hard to get that credential, that PhD. It's hard to write a grant. It's hard to get up, and it's really a very independent job to be a professor. So you have to be motivated. You have to be a self-starter. It's almost like you're a contractor for the university because
Yeah.
you write grants, but you do teach classes. It's a very it's a very demanding job. It's also a job that make you think and rethink about how much you've accomplished because we're constantly going through a review
Yeah.
to get tenure or to get full professor or to be distinguished professor. So it's a constant reminder of how much you have not done.
Wow, that I love that perspective. I
Mhm.
don't know that I would have thought about it like that, but
Mhm.
yeah, especially the reviewing part.
Yeah.
And you're not just teaching, you're also like writing like you're a
Grants.
student at the
Yeah.
same time,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Wow. How long have you been a professor?
I have been a professor 13 years. Maybe it's my 14th year, 13 years.
So 12 of those were in Auburn. Where did you
Mhm.
start?
I started out at Purdue,
Okay.
Iowa State. Yes, I got my degree from Iowa State, and then I was an adjunct there for a couple years, and then I went to do my postdoc at Purdue, and from Purdue got a divorce and came here.
So you've been here post-divorce.
Post-divorce
So
the
this is
entire
your
time.
post-divorce
This
life.
is my post-divorce single mom life.
Yeah, yeah. Did you always want to be a professor?
No,
How'd you get
no.
into it?
I took that route because it was the easiest route. It was I started out wanting to do, excuse me, I graduated from an ag high school in Chicago, and I first wanted to go into ag, and then it got to ag, and I didn't want to be a food scientist. And then I always wanted to be a doctor, but when I went to the ag school and was opened up to these other career opportunities, I chose something differently, but always in the sciences. And then when I
Yeah.
went to school, I met a guy and decided after I switched to pre-med, decided I don't want to be 40 and have my first kid. So I switched to something that I could keep my ag background as well as my sciences, and it was nutrition.
I love that you started but opened up your mind to other opportunities because I do feel like that moment in college because you're so pressured to figure out what you want to do. Sometimes
Mhm.
people don't listen to their intuition and
Mhm.
they just keep going steadfast and
Yeah.
then they wake up one day and they're 40
Yeah.
and it's not the life that they wanted.
Yeah.
So good for
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
for figuring it
Thank
out
you.
early.
Yeah. I always say that I maybe I should have gone to medical school, but I wouldn't have been able to have 3 kids as a resident. I had 3 children, obtaining a doctorate degree, and through my postdoc, I had 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't have been able to do that as a resident. I would have had to wait. I would have had
Yeah.
to wait. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, God, it's such an interesting story. So Auburn, the job brought you to Auburn.
The job.
And you've stayed ever since.
And I stayed ever since. And the reason I came is because we moved so much as a couple and as an academic couple. You go from this school to get a degree to this school
Yeah.
to get a degree. And then my husband at the time, we moved from Penn State to Iowa State, and then from Iowa State to Purdue, and then the divorce. And I just wanted to be somewhere that I could sit down.
And the winters are a lot
Yeah.
nicer, huh?
I, yes. Yes, I can brag. I
100%.
can brag
It's a
about.
lot better
I
winter
can
time.
brag. Yes, I
Yeah.
can. Mm-hmm.
You know, we moved here, we've been here for about 12 to 13 years. And
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like Auburn's special.
Mm-hmm.
At least for us, we moved here before we had our daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like there was still things for us to do. We were close enough to Atlanta, but then
Yeah.
we had our daughter and
Yeah.
it was like the schools are great,
Yes.
the neighborhoods are great.
Mm-hmm.
So Auburn's been a great place for us as well, too.
Yes.
Post-divorce,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to talk about post-divorce for a second because however much you're willing to share,
Yeah.
because with 3 kids, I know from clients,
Mm-hmm.
I know from siblings
Mm-hmm.
and girlfriends,
Mm-hmm.
like to step into a new chapter with 3 young kids,
Yeah.
it's a huge deal. Share what you're willing to about what that experience was like.
I came here freshly divorced. I got a divorce July 3rd. I moved here August 1st.
Wow.
Yeah, by myself. By myself. I don't have
Wow.
any family in Alabama, no family in Auburn. I had a friend, sorority sister of mine, who actually is from Montgomery, and I met her at Iowa State. And she's the one I called and said, "Would you work at Auburn?" She says, "For sure." Came in for the interview, and everyone was so nice.
Yeah.
Like, just so nice. "Hi, welcome to Auburn. Hi." And
Mhm.
everyone that I met came and never left. And I felt like, wow,
That is true. That
I
says a
have not
lot.
come and not and stayed in any place that I've lived in. So
Mhm.
so I chose Auburn. Auburn chose me and I chose Auburn. And so I've been here, and it's been hard, I have to admit, though. When I first moved here, my children were about to be 4, 7, and 10.
Oh, yeah.
So it was 3 little girls
Mhm.
and me. So
Mhm.
anytime you saw Onikia, you saw her
Mhm. Yeah.
girls, because I
Whole
couldn't leave
team.
them at home to run to the grocery store. I had my kids with me every single minute.
Mhm.
And I actually lived for the summers because our divorce decree, he got the kids for the summer.
Mm.
So from June 1st to August 1st, I had 60 days to
Like
myself.
vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
60 days to myself, really. And I really did live for that. Now
Mhm.
he came in the beginning a lot for like Valentine's Day. So when we
Yeah.
first moved down here, it's not a thing up there, but it was a thing here for the daddy-daughter dance. And
Yeah.
I didn't want them to not be included. And so
Yeah.
I told him about it, and he would come down for their birthdays. But it's been hard. I mean, I've been single for the most of it. Dated a couple guys, but not, I mean, one serious relationship. But it's been, I mean, I don't bring a lot of people around my children.
Mhm.
So it's just it's different. It's
Yeah.
different. And this is frankly a married person's community.
It is.
I'm married with children. So the people that
Mhm.
I know and the people that are in my lives are in my life because my kid is on their team, where I met them
Mm.
that way. And they're wonderful people, and I love them all. It's just that most of the people are married here. And so it's not a lot of single people here
Yeah.
unless they're college students.
Yeah.
So that presents sort of a little barrier.
It does. I'm going to turn my ringer off. I had it turned on earlier when you were on your way, just in case you had an issue, but I'm like, it keeps pinging.
Yeah. I didn't-
So I want to give you a little bit of my background. So I was raised by a
Okay.
single mom,
Okay.
and I have 3 sisters. So there were 4 of us, but huge age difference in that they were 13, 11, and 9, and then I was born. So big surprise. And she was a single mom. I mean, she's still technically a single mom. She never remarried. We have, I call him my stepdad. It's her partner, but they're not married.
Right.
And I do think that it is a special bond between a mom and her girls, especially when she's a single mom.
Mhm.
And in my experience from being the daughter of that family is the power I grew up feeling as being a woman w- is you can't compare it to anything else. And
Right.
almost, and I have shared before on the podcast, and I have with people close to me, almost to my detriment
Mhm.
as a person who is now married
Mhm.
and having to navigate like, you have an opinion?
Mhm.
What? I don't
Mhm.
remember what that's like, right? It was just everything came from mom. Mom was
Mhm.
mom and dad, right?
Mhm.
And she carried
True.
both roles well.
Mm.
And none of my sisters we didn't have father figures. Their dad wasn't a part of their life, and mine
Mhm.
had died.
Mhm.
And so it wasn't summers at dad's or
Mm.
weekends at dad's. It was
Mhm.
mom all the
All the
time,
time.
right?
Right.
And I do feel like, I mean, it made me who I am. And I
Yeah.
love that. A
Yeah.
very powerful,
Yeah. Yeah.
independent, again, almost to
Absolutely.
my detriment
Absolutely.
type
Yes.
of person.
Yes.
I want to ask you though about dating,
Mhm.
because Auburn is a couples
Mhm.
place, and I've seen that happen with clients of mine who are
Mhm.
here locally, is that they feel like they need to go to a bigger city or they're not going to just run into someone, so
Yeah.
they have to do online, and
Yeah.
it's bothersome. But I'm also like, even in a big city, you would do the same thing because sometimes the big city is
Mhm.
too big,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
What is your experience? Whatever you're comfortable sharing.
When I first moved here, I dove into online and it
Yeah.
was weird, and then I got off, and then I was like, fine, forget it. And then I did actually meet someone, and that didn't it began well, but it didn't
Mm-hmm.
end well, because when it's still
Sure.
not together. So I gave it up
Mm-hmm.
again. But I realized about myself is that I'm not going to meet anyone because I'm just in my car. Right. I'm picking
Mm-hmm.
up and I'm dropping off. I'm at the studio, the Bar Method that's in Midtown Auburn,
Yeah.
or I'm at the Auburn University,
Yeah.
or I'm at home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, I don't even go in a grocery store anymore. I send my kids to the grocery store. I don't have to
Yes.
go to the grocery store. I may go into Home Depot. I have to admit that I just recently got off of a dating app
Mm-hmm.
just because I didn't find it was weird. It's just weird.
Yeah.
The interactions are weird. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a person, I am a very private person to an extent. I share.
Mm-hmm.
However, I felt like on the app, as soon as you meet someone, they're asking you to send them a picture.
Mm-hmm.
And then will be upset when you send the picture that you put on the app.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, I'm not catfishing you. I am who I am.
Yeah.
I don't want to send you a picture. That's personal. You don't
Mm-hmm.
just send anybody a picture. That's how so after so many people who ghost me from that, I
Yeah.
just felt like this isn't really for me. And I went out on some dates and I went out on the dates because I felt like it's looking for a job.
It's a numbers
You get
game.
one interview,
Yep.
they all come in,
Yep.
all the offers are
Rains it
coming in.
pours.
That's
Yeah.
right. So I'm thinking, okay, like you gotta kiss some
Yeah.
toads,
That's right.
to get to Prince Charming. No, no, that's not how dating works.
Yeah.
As I finally told myself, like, yeah, no, I can't. I just can't. And so now I'm just to a point like, all right, I'm done.
I'm good. Yeah. I thank you so much for sharing that
Mhm.
because I feel like that's so relatable. And the women I work with, I have a couple of clients right now that are like fresh post divorce
Mhm.
who never online dated.
Mhm.
And so everyone, and not everyone, but most people, I think, have this super negative connotation to meeting someone online. But the truth of the matter is, exactly in your situation, like where else are you going to meet people? We're busy. We're
Mhm.
we're
Mhm.
we're outsourcing for all of these other things. This is just another version of outsourcing. But it is a game to some degree. Like I've heard feedback from clients and friends, like it's a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more likely you might meet somebody you want to go on a date with.
Mhm.
And I coach women through it.
Mhm.
And and one of the things I tell them early on before they meet someone is do a FaceTime. Do a FaceTime so you can hear their voice
Mhm.
and see their
Mhm.
facial expressions. And
Mhm.
it's that much closer to a date without actually stealing a lot of your time
Right.
and
Right.
really like,
Right.
disappointing you potentially.
Yeah.
Um, because that is the case. They want pictures or even they're like crude,
Mhm.
right? And they're
Mhm.
going straight to like inappropriate
Yes.
conversations. And you're like, hold on,
I don't even know
who
you.
said I was
Mhm.
open to this
Mhm.
or even consented to this? And
Mhm.
it's ruthless
It is.
out there.
It is.
And I one of my clients in particular that I'm thinking of right off the bat, she was like, "This is not what I signed up for." And I'm like, hold
Mhm.
strong, ignore them,
Mhm.
block them, whatever, just keep
Mhm.
going." And now they just became exclusive this weekend. A great guy, but
Oh.
she went on a couple of dates, and so
Mhm.
I kept telling her, I said, "It's practice.
Mhm.
Each date you go on, you're now shifting your non-negotiables. Like,
Yes.
I really liked this feeling,
Yeah.
but I didn't like that. So the next one,
Mhm.
I'm looking for this."
Mhm.
And one of the mantras I say to my girls dating is like, chase the feeling, not the person. So what feeling did they make you feel that you were like,
Mm.
"Oh, that's intoxicating"? Somebody else can make you feel like that. You don't have to hang on to this person because
Mhm.
they like all of these other things don't work, right?
Mhm.
So I've started using that mantra because it's like it's the feeling you're after. And you want someone to
Okay.
give you all of these feelings,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
But then you may also be in a season where you give yourself those feelings. You don't need anyone else to
Mhm.
give them to you.
Okay, I get
And
that.
so it's
I
like
get that.
seasonal, right?
Mhm.
But again, thank you for sharing that because I feel like so many people,
Welcome.
especially post
Mhm.
divorce, think, I can't do this.
Yeah.
It's too much. And it may be, but you don't know until you try it.
And sometimes it is, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's too much. Then you can step back.
Yeah.
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 So relatable. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness.
Mhm.
So before we came to meet today, I asked you a couple of things that you were
Yes.
comfortable talking about. And one of the ones I highlighted because I want to dig into is women's safety.
Mhm.
So talk to me about women's safety. What does that mean for you?
Safety for me, especially women's safety, it's not just the physical safety, but it's the mental, emotional, and spiritual safety within a woman because so many times we are looked on as inferior and we are put in situations where we won't speak up or remove ourselves from a situation, from mental abuse, from emotional abuse, from spiritual abuse, from physical abuse, knowing that our gut is telling us like red flags inside,
Mm-hmm.
bonking inside. And it's not always about fighting
Yeah.
physically, but it is about fighting for you. And so I am about, get you a concealed weapons. Make sure that you are able to protect yourself. Make sure that you are armed with the right knowledge to protect yourself physically, protect yourself spiritually. Don't believe everything someone says just because they are rehearsing or regurgitating or has
Mm,
memorized scripture to use that against you to make you do something that you are not comfortable with doing. Uh, Emotional, if like you said, chase that feeling. If it
mm-hmm.
has you feeling negative, if this person or this situation or this job doesn't make you give you warm fuzzies, that's emotional abuse. Like we've got to recognize the gaslighting, the manipulation, the narcissistic abuse, recognize that and then just be powerful enough um, to keep ourselves safe and remove ourselves from the situation. I'm not saying that it's easy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's easy, but what I am saying is that recognizing it and removing ourselves from the situation so that we could be better. So we could be
Mm.
better.
I love that. And I think there's so much to unwrap with that. And I think and I love because I was thinking we were gonna start talking about like boxing and stuff like
Mm,
this, but I
mm,
love that it's so much deeper than that
mm-hmm.
because women are vulnerable.
Yeah.
And there are people out there, I'm not even just going to say men, but other women
Yeah.
who are master manipulators and
Mm-hmm.
will take advantage of weaker
Mm-hmm.
individuals, right? And it doesn't mean you're weak. It just
It's
means they see
for you
something
as
in
you
you
weak.
they can take advantage of,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I do, there's varying degrees of it, right? Like when you're in college, it's a whole different level, right? It's out
Mm-hmm.
at bars, it's
Mm-hmm.
catfished, it's
Mm-hmm.
social media, it's all of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you get older and it's mom friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's people in your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's other couple friends
Mm-hmm.
that make you feel certain ways that you're like, I'm
I,
feeling disrespected.
yes.
And this
Yes.
has actually come up a lot recently with some women's groups that I'm a part of is gaslighting. What does
Mm-hmm.
that mean? What does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
How have you ever felt? But also in business situations where either men or women will look down on you or speak down to you. Um, like you don't know what you're talking about and they don't even know you.
Don't even know you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And, with my college girls, I have two college girls that work for me, and then I have a lot of college clients. We talk a lot about safety in bars,
Hmm. Hmm.
keeping your drink safe,
Keeping your
not
drink safe.
taking stuff from strangers, like
Hmm.
regardless of what it is.
The girl rule. You
Y-
go, you come home with who you came with,
Yes, you
and
have
keep it
like a
safe.
designated, I think Rachel calls it like a designated security guard or
Hmm.
like a designated bitch. I can't remember
Hmm.
exactly how she
Hmm.
phrases it, but
Hmm.
the one person
Hmm.
who's like keeping an eye out, not necessarily driving because there's Uber, there's so many other options, but someone who is straight enough
Making
to
sure.
say,
Hmm.
okay, you're not going off with that person, you're coming home, like
Hmm.
keeping like a
Yeah.
den
Yeah.
mother, if
Like,
you will,
no,
right?
no, that's not why we're here.
Yeah, but also like going to the grocery store at night in the
Yes.
parking lot. Like there's so many ways that this comes up.
Hmm.
I do have a concealed weapon. I do
Hmm.
think that, if you live in a state where that's legal, make sure you know how to shoot
Shoot
it
it.
and clean
Yes.
it and
Yes. Yes.
safety and
Yes.
you have a gun safe and
Hmm.
all of it. Like we
Hmm.
have a fingerprint safe.
Yeah. Yes.
And anyway,
Hmm.
I have pepper spray in my
Hmm.
car.
Yeah.
Somebody told me once that mace didn't work on certain people, like if they were high on something. I can't remember exactly. And I don't
Oh,
even know if
okay.
that's true. I need to fact check that.
Okay.
So I always buy pepper spray. But also, I think like you have that uh-oh feeling, that intuition, that gut that something's not right. Someone's following me in the grocery
Yeah.
store, or I'm in a
Hmm.
parking lot and I feel
Hmm.
like somebody's watching me. And one of my go-tos with clients is you always have your phone in your hand.
Hmm.
Always.
Hmm.
Turn your video on or FaceTime someone
Yeah.
and make sure that someone knows that it's being recorded.
Yeah.
And I can remember there's a girl I follow on social media, and one of her like encouragements was to like, if somebody's really creeping you out and
Hmm.
you've like actually said something to them to leave you, put them on record and say, I'm recording you. Like, and
Yeah.
make it a
Okay.
thing where you
Good idea.
basically kind of, I think that that could be a good idea, but
Hmm.
also opens up for confrontation.
Yes, because
So it's
sometimes,
kind of a maybe,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
fill
yeah.
that one out.
Sometimes people don't want to be recorded, but
Yeah.
I'm not following you. I just happen to be in the same aisle as you. Every single aisle.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
mm,
a little iffy for
no.
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, and even like if you're feeling physical, like you can't physically protect yourself,
Hmm.
lift some weights, go take
Hmm.
some physical. Like I know at the college
Yeah.
they teach self-defense
Self-defense.
classes. There's just
So many things.
so many
Hmm.
things,
Hmm.
right? And it's always changing. There's always something you're having to watch out and protect yourself.
And check fact, like you said, check fact. Like just because
Mhm.
someone says something to you doesn't mean that it's correct. Just
Mhm.
because it's on the internet doesn't mean that it's correct. Like check
Mm.
fact. Like you have access to the same thing that this person said. Oh,
Yeah.
you can win $1 million. Just be safe. Just it's really well. If I don't feel safe, then I remove myself.
Mm. And if it's too good to be true, it
Yeah.
probably is true.
Yeah.
And I am like, I come off more as a bitch, especially to
Mm-hmm.
men,
Mm-hmm.
if I don't know them. And I'd
Mm-hmm.
rather them think I am
Mm-hmm.
than think I'm friendly because I
Yeah.
don't need you to think I'm friendly,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But I mean, I've even gone to like if like somebody who I'm not familiar with comes to do pest control or something, like I will
Mm-hmm.
call the office
Mm-hmm.
and say I've got so and so, like
Yeah.
stuff like that,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I
I
don't
don't know
know
you.
you.
I don't know you.
Yeah. And I think maybe that comes from that single
Mm-mm.
mom. Like
Mm-hmm. I don't
we're
know
not
you.
playing stupid
Yeah.
here. Like this
Yeah.
is not, we don't play
Anybody can
this.
pull up in that van.
Yeah.
Anybody can pull
Oh
up in that
man.
van.
So
Mm-hmm.
true. So true. I'm trying to think of like, and like, you think of these older women who live
Mm-hmm.
at home and they're getting scammed,
Mm-hmm.
putting their card into stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I'm even hesitant to buy stuff online sometimes
Me
because I'm
too.
like, I've
Me
never
too.
bought from this place.
I
I'm
know.
not giving
Yeah.
you my credit card
I know. Yeah.
number.
Yes. Me too. Me too.
It's wild out
My
there.
daughters are like, just do it. It's like, let me look and see. I don't know. Let me fill this out. I don't
Yeah.
want to be putting, just use this card, not this card.
Yeah. I always use the American Express because I can
Because you can
dispute it.
dispute it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can say,
That's what I said. Use this
no,
card, not
this
this
was
card.
not
Yeah,
me.
this was not me.
100%.
I don't
Never
know.
a debit card.
Yes,
Don't use a
never a
debit
debit card.
card.
Mm-mm.
Don't do it.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Mm-mm.
all right. So a couple other things I have:
Okay.
time management.
Yes.
And kind of all of these kind of blend together because I'm asking about discipline,
Mm-hmm.
consistency with health and
Mm-hmm.
wellness, and time management. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm still working on time management. I'm a work in progress,
Mm-hmm.
time management, especially since I've had my girls since COVID. They haven't gone to their dads for the summers because COVID happened and everybody's at a standstill. And he had some personal things that he had to take care of that didn't, his mom was actually not well. And so the girls couldn't be there, because it's COVID. And so time management is hard because as a single mom in an area with no family, no
Mm-hmm.
blood, no blood relatives, it's a lot of things that I would probably have help from if I was at home in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago. But because I'm not, I just don't have that. I can't. There are some people who I have called upon and I love them, love them, love them for it. Can you pick Jada up? Can you pick up Shauna? I'm this. And now I'm down to one car. So it's like, oh, I gotta figure out things on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving things on a daily basis. How I'm gonna get here on time. My daughter, actually, my oldest daughter was like, yeah, you're the poster child for late. And I was like, excuse you, I'm never late. Like late. I don't say never. Okay. I'm late sometimes, but I'm rushing.
Yeah.
Yes. I said, no, I rush a lot, but I'm not late a lot. I'm
Yeah.
rushing because I've got this, I've got that, I've got this. I'm waiting until the last minute to check emails because I know I got 15 minutes to get to this other place.
Mm.
So I got to rush out the door. Now I got 15 minutes. I got to pick this person up. Now I got 10 minutes to get to this place. So it's hard to manage my time. It's hard to
Mm-hmm.
manage my time because I need a clone. That's
Mm-hmm.
like everybody else, right? I just need a clone. If I could clone myself, I would. And
Yeah.
I would be so fulfilled every day. I feel burdened by all the tasks that I have to do
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have that much time. I've got to work, I've got a kid to raise, I've got, I can't even say that I do the cooking because I don't. The daughter
Mm-hmm.
does the cooking, but I do everything else. I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
keep the laundry down. We're trying to keep the house clean and not like a Tasmanian devil went through it,
Sure.
So you've got to make time for everything. And so, in that, the priorities of the day. That's how
Mm-hmm.
my time management goes. The priorities of the day, as far as whether I'm teaching a class at the bar method or at the university, what papers need to be graded first, what do we need to put in the laundry, what floor has not been mopped or
Yeah.
swept,
Mm-hmm.
the dishwasher can wait,
Yep.
those types of things. I got to water my plants
Yep.
today. These
It's like
type things.
triaging things.
It's
Like
yes.
what's gonna die
What's going to die
first
first?
if I don't go to it
True,
right away?
true, true. That's
Yeah.
how that's how I operate. And I've learned to sometimes I put things in my calendar that I really need to get done that I've put off too long so
Mm-hmm.
that if it's on my calendar, it sticks, So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, I've got to write this paper, but I haven't really set aside the time because this came up or this came up or this came up. So I have to put in a block of time and I'm writing this paper
Yeah.
or I'm grading these papers or I've got to go work out. Like
Yeah.
that's important to me. I'm a dietitian and I own the bar method.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't have a good, I guess, quality of life without one without the other. You
Mm-hmm.
got to have both. You have to. And I'm not saying that you should only eat fruit and vegetables,
Sure.
right?
It's
It's
not realistic.
variation, moderation.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it goes. But you also have to move your body, whatever that
Yes.
means. And you have to find something. And a lot of people don't find out what works for them and they don't try new things. So they don't know. And so you have 50-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 35-year-olds still doing these hard runs
Yeah.
and tearing up their joints and
High
they're
intensity.
high
Yeah.
intensity, and very high impact. But
Mm-hmm.
the bar method, it's a low impact, high intensity workout made for everybody and it's easy on your joints and it's research shows that people who have a great core, a strong core, are also at a lower risk for heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
So Find out what works for you.
Yeah.
I know that everything isn't for everybody, but there is something for everybody.
Yeah.
There's something.
I think too with something like the bar method, it's also community,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Yeah.
you form like a little girl group, a hype
Mm-hmm.
squad of your own, right? With these women because you start going to the same times and you start
Yes.
building relationships and rapport and
Yes.
it becomes so much more than just working out,
Yes.
which I think is what keeps people in some of these other things. Like I used to do a high intensity workout and I won't call out any names. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
bash
Mm-hmm.
anybody,
Mm-hmm.
but it wrecked my body.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I was running at intervals and paces that I had no business doing
Yes.
while then also lifting really heavy like in the same, day.
Mm-hmm.
Um but you keep going because you start to build relationships with these
Yes.
people and it's almost
Yes.
like accountability in a
It
lot
is
of ways,
accountability.
but finding other way, and a lot of people, and I just had this come up in a session earlier where my client lives in a small town and she's wanting to move to a bigger town because working out. She
Yeah.
said, there are no other classes here for me to try different
Mm-hmm.
styles because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just go to the gym. I
Yeah.
want to go and do other things, yoga,
Yeah.
Pilates,
Yeah.
bar method.
Yeah.
So I do think that if you live somewhere
Mm.
where there are options, sample them,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
it is and core, I mean, you need your core for
You need your core for
everything. Like
everything.
if you've ever had a C-section,
Mm.
ladies, you understand that
Ooh.
like when your core is not
Yeah.
in great shape, you never realize. And I didn't have a C-section, but I
Mhm.
did labor and delivery
Okay.
nursing.
Oh.
And I remember the women were like, I had no idea I used my core for so
So
much.
much.
You really
You
do.
do.
I mean, for everything, your posture, I mean,
Mhm.
all kinds of things.
Mhm.
So, and if you're working out in a place where it's like my body is hurting all the time, you try something a little bit lower impact that is more sustainable
Yes.
that you can like
Keep doing.
continue
Mhm.
doing,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
consistency of it,
Yeah. And the bar method tones, strengthens, elongates, shapes your body and your muscles,
which is
and
the
it's low
goal.
impact but high intensity. And so we do have a great community. And I want to shout out our community because they have wrapped their arms around me and they support me. They are women, they are strong. And we've had some men that come into the bar method, but Davina and Gloria and Lisa and Amanda and Monique and we do also have students who come in and who create another community and
Yeah.
become part of our community, and we talk and we laugh and we joke and we have challenges and we challenge each other and we celebrate each
Mm.
other. You make 100 classes, we're gonna celebrate you. Mimosas at the bar,
I
let's
love
do it.
it.
So it's great. The bar method is a great community. It's also great to have people who are interested in the things that you're interested in and who have done things that you haven't done. Like, I
Mm.
mean, we talk to each other, and you you're right. It is more than a workout, it's a community. It
I,
is.
and I'm such a huge proponent. I only coach women,
Mm-hmm.
right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, my background in labor and delivery, like women's
Mm.
services is all I want to do,
Okay.
right? So when I think of any environment you can put yourself in where there are strong women, badass women around you, go there more,
Mm.
right? And one
Mm.
of the things that comes up for me often is so many of us grow up seeing as women as competition
Yeah.
and not befriending them or calling ourselves a guy's girl. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's such garbage. I was not a
Mm-hmm.
guy's girl. I
Mm-hmm.
just hid behind that, right? They were scary or intimidating, right? And now it's like if I'm intimidated by someone, I want to be around them more because it means they have something that I want for myself and I
Yeah.
can learn from them.
Yeah.
And
I get that.
a lot of women struggle finding friends. I'm not going to say that men don't
Mhm,
either, but
mhm,
women are my audience, but it's hard to find friends as an adult. It really is if they
mhm.
don't work with you or are already in your social circle. This
True,
is a great thing to
true,
do that
true.
aren't your kids' friends,
100%
parents, or
true,
whatever, or
true,
you didn't meet them at the
true.
PTO or that you don't work with them. You go and you do something like this and you meet women who have some common denominators
Yes,
with each other,
yes.
right? And women you wouldn't normally meet.
Mhm, mhm. And then
I
you
love
start
that.
doing other things together, but outside
Yes.
the bar method.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Especially because this is a community of, and we go back to the the nature of the Auburn community is a married woman's community.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're a single woman, if you're just a woman, and you come to Auburn new, it is hard to break into some of the mm, communities
Mm-hmm.
in Auburn. And that's especially if you're new. If you didn't go
Mm-hmm.
to Auburn, and I know there are a lot of people who live in Auburn who went to
They
Auburn
come
University,
back.
they
They
come
do.
back and they have their community. They
Yeah,
have their community.
true.
But people who are transients, who are not connected to Auburn University in any way, like myself, have a harder time of finding a
Mm-hmm.
girl community,
Same.
because it's like, oh, I'm living through my kid or I'm living
Yeah.
through my spouse or partner, but you don't want to live through your kid or live through your spouse or partner. You want to have your own little, like,
Yeah.
you call it hype squad. Like,
Yeah.
that's my girls. This is who I hang out with. And so I'm glad, I'm fortunate that I'm able to offer that to women. I'm glad for myself
Yeah.
that I do have that beyond. And I am, so you know, that I am the mom at the sporting events yelling and screaming. I enjoy. I'm very competitive and I enjoy watching my daughters and their
Yeah.
teammates compete. I enjoy uh yelling and screaming
Hyped.
and
Hyped energy, right?
I enjoy the hyped energy of a meet, a game, a match, a competition.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. And so I am the mom. And most people who have been on a team with my daughter or who has competed against my daughter's team, they know who I am. I'm screaming, I'm yelling, "Hey, get to it.
Yeah.
Yes, you got it. Let's go, y'all."
The
Or
cheerleader.
I'm a cheerleader.
Yeah.
I can't line judge a volleyball because I want to cheer. I can't
Yeah.
take the score. I want to cheer. I
Yeah.
can't keep game changer at softball. I got to cheer. Everybody
Yeah.
has their job. I know my job. I'm the cheerleader.
But I love that because I feel like so many women feel really hesitant to
Mm-hmm.
be out loud like
Loud like
that.
that.
And so that's such a great encouragement to who
Who
cares? Like,
cares?
especially for your kids, right? To be
Mm-hmm.
able to hear your own mom in the stands,
Mm-hmm.
albeit I'm sure they've had their moments of
Oh,
like, mom, like for real. But still, to feel that encouraged and supported, I can
mm-hmm.
only imagine how like how much more they have felt because
Mm-hmm.
of that in these moments. And for girls too, to just feel hyped all the time. And they'll be the same cheerleaders, I'm sure, if they don't already do it for each other.
I hope they are. And my youngest daughter, she is the hype squad. She's loud. You hear her all the time. And I think my other girls, they do. They are very supportive and open cheerleader for their teammates, and I like that. I like, just cheer. Let's cheer us on.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I say it too, like you were talking about, it's good for you to make friends. I think
Mm-hmm.
about here, and I've said this to a couple of people, like, if no one listens to this,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Like, what other opportunity? I mean, I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Please
Mm-hmm.
listen, right?
Please.
But what other opportunity do I get to sit and have this kind of conversation with someone I've never met before and like have a reason to ask all of these things about how you got to where you are? I feel so immensely grateful to have that opportunity.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm like, this is my win, right? To
Mm-hmm.
be able to sit in a place to do this. So like
Mm-hmm.
celebrating your win, like I built this community and now I get to sit in it and
Yeah.
relish it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
That's true.
beautiful.
That's true. I
It's
built this. Yeah.
beautiful.
That's true.
So tell me if I'm going to the bar method,
Yes.
where am I going? What am I
Okay.
signing up for? Give
All
me the
right.
spill.
Okay. If you're going to the bar method, you're going to come to Midtown, 185 First Street in Midtown, Auburn, across the street around the area of Niffers
Yep.
and U-Haul. So in the cute little community, not it's not really a little community, it's a big community,
Yeah.
but you can expect friendship, compassion, and a welcoming spirit the moment you walk in the door. We are a shoeless community, so we expect you to take your shoes off. And you need some socks, preferably
Yep.
grippy
Grippy
socks.
socks. Yep.
And then you come into the studio and join us for some low impact, high intensity workouts that'll tone, shape, and strengthen your body and have you feeling mentally, emotionally, and spiritually good. Because we stretch too. We stretch in there, and so we help people to feel good about themselves.
I'm gonna have to come for a class.
You have to come
So
for
if you start, do you get to sample the
Yeah,
workout before you
sure.
sign up for a package?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm
Yes.
gonna come. I've done bar before, but it's been a long time and I think
Okay.
I'm ready to bring it back in.
Free
That's
class. Come on
exciting.
in for a free class.
That's exciting. Um, All right, Onikia, I told you a little bit before we started, we'll do
Okay.
a hype list.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you a little reminder,
All
anyone
right.
who's
All right. All right.
listening who hasn't listened. So we do a hype
Mhm.
list, which is basically our opportunity to be full of ourselves and brag about what we are
Okay.
good at.
Yes.
So share with me an achievement that you are proud and you want to brag about, and maybe an obstacle you had to overcome in order to get there.
Okay. I am really proud of myself for opening the bar method. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And right now I have two full-time jobs, but I love it. I I love it. Obstacles. I had to go from changing my route of what business I was going to open because I was going a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to be okay with some hurts of some doors being closed and some things not going the way that I wanted them to go and the bar method. I'm
Mm,
I'm proud that I continued on, that I'm still continuing on as I'm growing this community, that I'm still continuing on, that I'm meeting people that are supporting me, that I'm supporting others, that I made it. I did
yes.
it. I did it. I
Yes.
am actually an entrepreneur, and that's one of my goals. I did it.
I love that because I feel like, and I've shared this before in some capacity, like that entrepreneur uh, title
Mm-hmm.
is something that a lot of female entrepreneurs never really feel like they're qualified to carry, right? To use that term. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I even see, and I do it myself, I kind of cringe a little bit.
Like, oh no.
Entrepreneur, like
Mm-hmm.
question mark?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
no question
Mm-hmm.
mark, right? It's something
Yes.
I work on too.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But it is not an easy feat. If
Mm-mm.
it were easy, everybody would do it. And there's a reason why they don't. But I also love that you shared earlier about time management. You're still figuring it out because there is no perfect recipe. Like it
Mm-mm.
is messy
Mm-mm.
and chaotic. And hopefully you get some time for yourself. Maybe you don't, but it's a season.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it's a longer season than others.
Yes.
But
True.
it is, I'm waking up every day and I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
It might be hard and sticky and
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing myself up
Mm-hmm.
past what I thought my limits were,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm showing up anyway.
Mm-hmm. And cheering myself on and asking God to help me. Like, come on, God.
Yeah.
Come on, God. Okay, you got this. You got this. You did it. You did it. Okay. Now I'm gonna do this. Okay, come on, come on.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm tired. And when I'm tired, just be tired.
Yeah.
Just allow myself to just be mentally tired. And I do have some people in my corner who I can bend their ear and complain and and that's good. That's good. I
Mhm.
need to complain when I need to complain, but I also like take a deep breath,
Yep.
stand up straight, and get back at it.
Do it scared.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do it overwhelmed. Do it
Mhm.
crazy. Just keep
Mhm.
doing it,
Do it
right?
uncertain. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
uncertain, but I'm doing it. Like,
Oh my gosh. I could keep talking to you
mhm.
for so long.
Oh,
This
me
has been
too.
so great. Thank
Great.
you for coming and doing this. Thank you for getting hyped with us. You're welcome back anytime you want to come
Having
and
me.
chit
This has
chat.
been great.
Be kind to yourselves today and every day. We'll see you next time.